you very much for joining me in the Clarity Learning Suite. This is a complete guide to thinking about what matters most in learning, teaching, and leading. I've collaborated with colleagues from across the globe, from Canada, from Australia, and from New Zealand.
A learning leader, nominated by each school or cluster of schools, facilitates sessions. This is a crucial role. The learning leader is always prompted in the session by the symbol shown here. Every session has specific notes for the learning leader as facilitator. These include pre-session preparation notes. Here's an example. Now let's look at the weave of each session. Each session has a short and sharp minds-on, so that participants center themselves for the session. This is always followed by an opportunity for data dialogue. Here's an example. Every session has operating norms, clear learning intentions, and success criteria.
Our operating norms build on each other, and they're very important for developing that culture of learning in our learning sessions. I want you to seek to understand in this session and be an attentive listener, hearing every voice. We're learning to consider leadership skills to do this work, our own leadership skills and those of others. We're also looking at our data and thinking about what's working and what's an area of improvement. Our success criteria is about making connections between our data and the 14 parameters, and your leadership to do this work with colleagues. We're considering our next steps and how we get staff buy-in. So walking away from this session, I want you to have a plan of your focus on the 14 and one in particular, and how you'll get staff buy-in to do this work alongside you.
Every session concludes with the 3 sections that make up the deliberate pause to create clarity. Firstly, the reflective journal. The reflective journal supports participants to make meaning of learning using the retell, relate, and reflect template, and to make a commitment to action. Your learning log records the date, time spent, tasks, and includes responses to questions that lead to accreditation. The log holds your personal commitment to your next steps of learning. The learning log in every session contains 2 quizzy questions. Here you can see an example. And finally, the third component of the deliberate pause to create clarity is the preparation needed for the next session. Each session we unpack key aspects and evidence-proven practices for impactful learning, teaching and leading. The learning leader facilitates small group learning to further unpack the key learnings through collaborative practical activities. Here you'll hear from Sharratt as she leads you to consider equity and excellence in relation to the 14 parameters.
When we look at parameters 1 and 14, we think about equity and excellence. Excellence in our approaches, but also equity. It is about all students. And so that's why it's the first dimension of parameter 1. When considering that all teachers can teach to high standards, given the right assistance, we think about student work as evidence. We consider that all teachers can move all students from where they are to where they can be and even beyond and surprise us.
The fundamental challenge and the 4-column matrix contained in each session together frame the opportunity for us to become reflective practitioners. In each session there are individual and group activities that allow us to think through and discuss the content before completing a final product. The process is as critical as the product. A commitment to action comes at the end of each module. your commitment to improving learning, teaching and leading in your context. In this example, you will note the emphasis on leadership, a strand that runs throughout the suite and requires ongoing reflection. We hope to have the opportunity to work alongside you as you step through the Clarity Learning Suite to enhance your professional learning. To find out more, please visit claritylearningsuite.com.